Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is gzduel, and I'm here today to present to you my Inzektor deck for a September 2013 format. And I had fun playing with it. It's still, I don't believe that this is my playstyle, even though it's kind of in a way a more sinister, darker version of Madolche's because they combo a lot. But at the same time, I feel like I like Madolche's much better than this. But still, it was a really powerful deck. It carried me through a lot of games, and I'm very happy to share it with you guys. Okay, so first of all, we have 16 monsters. We have one Dark-Armed Dragon, pretty good. One Gigamantis is basically all you need because you can keep constantly recycling it with your Inzektor Calibers. One Inzektor Hopper because you'll just basically need one to facilitate any combos. You'll need one Armageddon Knight in conjunction with two Mystic Tomato. This is the engine I chose to run. I chose to run this engine over the so-called Summoner Monk engine. So Summoner Monk engine is, instead of these two Mystic Tomatoes, you run two Summoner Monks, and you'll hopefully use Summoner Monk to get into your Armageddon Knight, and then with your Armageddon Knight, you want to ditch Hornet, and then from Armageddon Knight and Armageddon Knight and Summoner Monk, you want to XYZ into something like Lavalval Chain, and with Lavalval Chain, you want to place something like Dragonfly on the top of your deck. Now, that sounds all very good in theory, but a lot of things had to go right in order for that combo to go off successfully. First of all, you needed to have a spell card to ditch. Second of all, you needed to have your opponent to not negate your effect on two different occasions. And third of all, what happens if your Hornet's already in the graveyard? You can, of course, you can dump something like Ladybug, but it doesn't facilitate the max of your combo. And plus, when you're using Lavalval Chain, you have to wait a different turn so that your opponent has setup. So your opponent sees, okay, he's got an Inzektor Dragonfly coming, so I might have to prepare for that. I might have to put warning down and stuff like that. So, I don't think it's the most efficient engine. And plus, first turn, you can do this, but then I prefer I prefer to have a first turn move where you're not giving away your deck. If you play that, you're discarding, you're dumping the Hornet into the grave, you're setting up your next draw for Dragonfly. Your opponent's fully aware of what deck you're playing, and they're gonna tailor their playstyle to you. But if you go first turn, you set Mystic Tomato, and out of nowhere your opponent attacks into it, and then you summon out Armageddon Knight, and then you ditch into your Hornet, your opponent's like, oh shoot, I've already attacked. There's minimal things I can do in order to protect myself next turn. So I feel like the unexpected factor is one thing. That's one of the reasons why I chose to run Mystic Tomato engine. The second reason why is what happens if you draw the Mystic Tomato engine late. Sorry, what happens if you draw into the Summoner Monk engine late game? So late game as in you already dispense with one of your Armageddon Knights. There's an odd number so that you'll always have an odd number of Summoner Monks left in your deck. So if you draw into that, it's kind of a dead draw. Whereas if you draw into an extra Mystic Tomato, that's perfectly fine, because if your opponent attacks into Mystic Tomato, not only can you summon out Armageddon Knight, you can also summon out something directly like Dragonfly. So in that case, if you already had Hornet into the graveyard, simply summon out Dragonfly, and then you can persist with your combo next turn. And since this Dragonfly was special summoned by the effect of Mystic Tomato, you can still do normal summons. You can still summon out a Centipede if you have one, so you'll have multiple layers to your plan. Okay, and of course you have to run the mandatory Inzektor monsters. We need the 3 Inzektor Centipede, 1 Inzektor Dragonfly, 1 Inzektor Hornet. The 2 Max CS chose to main deck. I'll tell you guys why, and I chose to run 3 Inzektor Ladybugs. Now, the 2 Max Cs, they're good hand traps in themselves. They stop your opponent for a turn, and unlike Valor, which is a minus, Max C is always a plus, or at least 1 for 1. Now, insect imitation really helps with this because Maxi is a level 2 insect type, okay? So even if you have no occasion to use Maxi as a hand trap in themselves, then you can use Insect Imitation, Tribute Maxi, and then go into maybe a Dragonfly or maybe an Inzektor Centipede. Same thing with the 3 copies of Ladybug. The reason why you want to do this is you want to be able to draw into one of these 5 cards in conjunction with Insect Imitation to shrink your deck, to get your deck rolling, and hopefully set up your moves faster. I did experiment with the Heart of Clear Water. It was pretty good at several moments, but in other moments where I feel like it was kind of dead, because realistically you only want to pair up Heart of Clear Water with these 4 cards right here, the 3 Centipedes and the 1 Dragonfly, because by unequipping from these guys you get really good effects. But Heart of Clear Water does nothing that's 4 targets for 2 Heart of Clear Waters. Whereas if you're using Insect Imitation, that's 5 targets you're working with. You're working with 2 Maxies plus 3 Inzektor Ladybugs. So in that way, you are actually able to get off the consistent plays, set up for your consistent plays that much easier. So that's why I chose to run Insect Imitation. That's why I chose to run these cards at these numbers. Okay, spell cards. Dark Hole, 3 Upstart Goblin, help with consistency, 1 Foolish Burial. I already talked about the 2 Insect Imitations. The 3 Power Duality, it's not too much because you do have protection. I'll get into that. But then it really helps you set up in the beginning, especially if you maybe pod Duality into a Mystic Tomato, then you can just set the Mystic Tomato and let the rest of your deck run itself. And you need 3 Mystical Space Typhoons because not only do you sometimes want to destroy the back row of your opponent, you also want to sometimes destroy the equip cards on some of your really good Inzektor monsters. So, for example, if you use Mystical Space Typhoon on a Inzektor Gigamantis, which is equipped to, I don't know, a Dragonfly, then you can make a lot of things happen. Okay, and also 2 Forbidden Lands because sometimes you'll want to fight your opponent, because if your Inzektor monsters are equipped with Hornet or maybe Gigamantis or maybe with Ladybug, they have a pretty sizable attack. Plus, if you summon out Inzektor monster, you don't want them to get like bottomless trap hold and stuff. 2 Zector Calibers, just because, you know, it's good overall. It recycles your Inzektor monsters, also because you can do a lot of crazy combos. Now for the trap cards, I thought long and hard about my trap lineup. It's very minimal, unlike some Inzektor decks that also play like protective traps. I chose to just run 2 Threatening Roars because the third I teched in a Scrap Iron Scarecrow. I felt like this was really helpful because it's very frustrating when you have like maybe a Ladybug or when you have like a Centipede or maybe a Dragonfly on the field and your opponent summons out a monster, thinking that they can attack over it, but then you flip up like Scrap Iron Scarecrow every turn, and then next turn you just use this Dragonfly's effect to pop their monster so that they can only summon 1 monster at a time, and they know that with that 1 monster they can't get at you, they can't get at the Dragonfly, so it's pretty awesome. 2 Imperial Iron Walls, I've already gone through it, why I played this card in the main deck, because it's just, I think, very useful in this meta right now, and it helps with one of the shortcomings of the Inzektor deck, and that is the early game. Also, 2 Call the Haunted because you want to be able to recycle your few Inzektor monsters. Okay, in the Escher deck, very straightforward. You have Gaia Thunder Charger. What is this called? Oh, Tyrus. Tyrus. And then you'll need Volcasaurus. You also want Shark Fortress because it helps with your OTK plays. Crimson Shadow Armor Ninja, the level 5 one. Exa Stag, Master Key Beetle. Symphony Jin. You also want Lavalval Chain, Acid Golem, Leviathan Dragon, Giga Brilliant, Levier the Sea Dragon, Tempo, and also Wind Up Zemes. In the side deck, we need 2 Effect Veilers because sometimes you will face decks that will have a lot of monster effects. That's why, you know, you want to play Effect Veiler, especially those those Karakuris maybe, Spellbooks, Prophecy. Also, Soul Taker. I felt like Soul Taker was very necessary. Sometimes your opponent tries to play a stun deck, that tries to stop or limit some of the things you can do. So, for example, if you're playing against Dragunities and they have something like Photon Strike Bouncer, then you'll have a terrible time with your Inzektor monsters because your Inzektor monsters require their effects to equip like Hornet in order to destroy stuff. So you just want to get rid of that monster right away to facilitate the rest of your plays. So you want to get rid of those cards. You want to get rid of Shiens. You want to get rid of stuff like that. Soul Taker really helps. 2 deck Devastation Viruses. Inzektor monsters, when they're equipped with several cards, when they're equipped with Hornet, when they're equipped with Gigamantis, they'll be above 2,000 attack, and then you can just chain deck Devastation Virus, and everything will be great. 2 Breakthrough Skills because it's just really good. You can negate the effect of the Photon Strike Bouncer this way instead of getting rid of it using Soul Taker, and then you can facilitate the rest of your Inzektor combos. 2 Vanity's Emptiness. I felt like this was a really good card for this deck, especially because when you're ready to go off and special summon a lot of stuff, what you do is you use Dragonfly's effect, you equip Hornet onto your field, and then you send the Hornet from your field to the graveyard to destroy something on your opponent's side of the field. In doing so, you take away the Vanity's Emptiness from your side of the field, and then your Dragonfly's effect can activate, you can special summon, it doesn't block you at all, whereas it hurts your opponent infinitely much more. The third Impure on our wall, just for those matchups where you need it. 2 goes in match against dragons or against rogue, and also 2 mental drain. As you can see in this deck, except for the 2 max Cs, there aren't very many hand traps, and in order to combat dragons, you have to like do everything possible. Whatever hurts them and doesn't hurt you, you basically have to side it in this format. So I chose to run 2 mind drains because on the one hand it doesn't hurt me, and on the other hand it hurts my opponent really, really badly. So as a whole deck, I guess if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section down below. I will respond to you guys to the best of my ability. If you have any suggestions, or if you have things that you find relevant and pertinent to the deck, please feel free to tell me, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. This is Gary GzDuels signing out.